Look closely at the GTA 6 cover art. Right there in plain sight are two people, Booby Ike and Raul Batista. They aren't in a trailer breakdown or a random bio drop, like they are stamped directly on the main box art, standing right next to Jason and Lucia. This isn't just filler background decoration. Rockstar is basically handing us a blueprint for the story before the game is even out. So today, we're breaking down what every major character in GTA 6 actually does for the plot. Not just who they are, but their actual purpose. Because once you see how this cast connects together, the entire storyline starts making perfect sense. So let's start with the biggest shift in the game's dynamic. GTA 5 gave us three protagonists who could barely stand each other half the time. GTA 6 is flipping the script on this entirely, with this game being based around a couple made up of Jason Duval and Lucia Caminos. Rockstar is pretty clearly leaning into the heavy, classic Bonnie and Clyde sort of vibe, and Lucia is the first female lead of the HD GTA universe. Looking at their official backgrounds, the conflict between the two becomes pretty obvious. So Jason grew up around local grifters, he did a stint in the army, and he ended up right back where he started, smuggling drugs in the Keys, and he's more than comfortable to just chill and live under the radar. Lucia, on the other hand, just got out of prison, wearing an ankle monitor, and is trying to chase the good life that her mom always wanted since they left Liberty City. He's completely done waiting around for it. That right there is the core engine of the entire game. There's no dramatic betrayal to make this story interesting. Jason is perfectly fine staying small time and working in the smaller regions like the Keys or the Grass Rivers and Ambrosia or Port Gellhorn, chilling, not in Vice City. While Lucia wants to risk it all and break through the ceiling and go to Vice City and go to the crazy heist and money and get that good life that she wanted. Every single score that they pull is that argument playing out in real time. Speaking of that ceiling, let's talk about Brian Heder, as he's literally that ceiling personified. What we've seen from the trailers and the different screenshots and info that Rockstar has given us, Brian is a drug runner from the golden age of Keys smuggling. The catch is he's not the one taking the risk anymore. He's essentially retired, and he's got guys like Jason doing the dirty work now while he sits back and chills. He even lets Jason live rent-free at one of his spots. At the beginning of trailer 2, we can see Brian chewing Jason out for fixing his roof instead of going and collecting rent and performing these shakedowns for Brian on his other properties. Honestly, that's a pretty big hint. Jason's essentially being paid in housing to just stay small and be obedient and not pursue greater things. So Brian basically represents that comfortable life and comfort zone for Jason. The second that Lucia gets out of jail and starts pushing for bigger plays, Brian becomes the guy that Jason's probably going to have to outgrow. And whether that ends with a clean break or a shootout remains to be seen as we play the game. Next up is Cal Hampton, who is Jason's best friend. On the surface, he kind of seems like he might just be Rockstar's comic relief, sort of like Lamar was in GTA 5, showing up in trailer 2 at the different bar scenes and asking to be hooked up if someone has any friends. But if we look closer, they mention that Cal is the guy monitoring Coast Guard radio frequencies. To me, this isn't just a random detail they mention. I think that's a massive piece of the smuggling puzzle. And as we've seen in different screenshots and information, smuggling and using boats and such seems like it could be a prominent part of this game. And if Jason and Brian are moving product through the Keys, well, they need eyes on the law, and Cal appears like he could be that guy. My prediction, and this might just be a hunch, but I think we need to keep an eye on Cal. I have a feeling that Rockstar is going to set up the funny, eccentric character who's just kind of chilling and listening to police scanners to knowing way more to the main story and everything than we might think. So I wouldn't sleep on him. So for this next part, I'm going to talk about three characters at once. To me, this looks like this is going to be the characters we come across as we move into Vice City and probably later into the game, like the mid game. And to me, that they have a lot of interesting functions and things that they will do in the game that I think will all connect perfectly. So the first is Booby Ike. Now, this guy is a street veteran that turned into a mogul. He owns real estate, the Jack of Hearts strip club, and Only Raw Records. And his official bio says that he's all smiles until it's time for business. Next is Draquan Priest. He co-runs that Only Raw Records label that I just mentioned with Booby. He's a hustler and he dealt drugs to fund his music dream, not because he loves the lifestyle. And finally, Real Dimes. Now this is a viral rap duo who blew up on social media and secured a major hit single 5 years before the game starts, and they are for this Only Raw Records label that we mentioned previously. So why does all this matter? Well, we know from the marketing of the game that GTA is leaning heavily into the social media, viral videos, phone culture, and influencer culture. I suspect the Real Dimes aren't just going to be background NPCs with this music thing going on. I think there's a big chance that this group of NPCs will be used to introduce a core gameplay mechanic. teaching you social media, the influencer culture, because I don't think that those social media clips were placed in trailer 1 by accident. I do think social media, and we've even had rumors and potential leaks on this topic as well, that social media will be an aspect in this game. You know, whether it's maybe see someone flexing on social media and that opens up a robbery opportunity, or there's, you know, dynamic world events that happen via social media. I think that there's going to be something to this. I do think that Real Dimes and Dracon Priest could be a way that they introduce this kind of social media and influencer culture and how it might affect the game. And I'm sure there will be great music subplots as well. And remember, as mentioned, Boobie Ike is right there on the official cover art. He's going to be a massive player in this game, and I suspect he will probably be a mid-game boss that we answer to and do missions for. Speaking of the official cover art, that brings us back to another name that we need to talk about, which is Raul Batista. Now, his official bio describes him as a seasoned, incredibly charming bank robber who's constantly looking for crew members willing to take massive risks for legendary payouts. The problem with this is he's getting more reckless with every score, and Rockstar explicitly notes that his crew is going to have to double down or pull their chips from the table. So Raul is basically a walking countdown clock. He's most likely the guy who's going to take Jason Lucia out of the small-time keys drug stuff and drops him more into the high-stakes, million-dollar heist. He's the catalyst for what I would suspect is the entire second half of the game and how we get involved in the statewide conspiracies and everything. And given his spot on the cover art and his bio, he's going to drive the plot forward in a way that really changes the game. Okay, so now that we've got a lot of the core characters covered, it's time for a hot take that might get me cooked in the comments, but just hear me out on this. I think a lot of people assume that Jason and Lucia might just end up betraying each other. You know, in GTA 5, as we know with the ending, someone dies, Red Dead Redemption 2, like, it's pretty standard that there's going to be deaths when it comes to the ending, right? But I think that Rockstar is not going to go down this road this time. Rockstar has hammered the concepts of trust, loyalty, and riding together all over the marketing. And I just think the theme is being pushed so hard before launch. I feel like they're trying to set it up to be expected that a betrayal or something will happen at the end. But I think they're actually going to do the opposite here. I think that Jason and Lucia will end up getting a happy ending in the game instead of betraying each other. Obviously, that's like pure speculation. And we'll definitely get some incredibly tense moments where they almost fall through and everything like that. You know, maybe there's a time where Lucia could get arrested again, or Jason, you know, it wants to go back to their regular life. I don't know exactly what it is, but I do think the game will end with them making it out together, however that works. I think the real twist is that Rockstar is going to subvert our expectations and actually have them stay loyal and work out in the end. So to keep it completely real with you guys, there are some massive blind spots that we do need to talk about. We still have zero official confirmation of the main antagonist. We saw this corrupt detective in trailer 2. It's possible he is. As seen on the cover art, it's possible Raul Batista is. That theory is okay. I actually don't think that this will be the main antagonist. And the reason why is I don't think that they would put the main villain and main antagonist on the cover art. I just feel like that's too obvious. And like, I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot about this game that we don't know, and I think that Rockstar is not going to do the obvious thing. So I think Raul will play a big part, and it's possible some of the characters revealed become a villain within the game, but aren't like the main villain, you know what I mean? More like a subplot side villain sort of thing that betrays us. But I think the actual main villain of the game that goes to that crazy official conspiracy and everything that we've heard about, I don't think that has been revealed and probably won't be revealed until we're actually playing the game, honestly. As for returning characters from GTA 5, there's really no official confirmation. I do think it would be cool, whether that's like Trevor out in the Grass Rivers, which would be really cool. Maybe Michael's children all grown up like Jimmy or Tracy. I do think there is a good chance that side characters from that game return, maybe smaller side characters that we wouldn't expect. I'm not sure exactly who that would be, but I do think there is a very solid chance characters from GTA 5 do return here, just because it's just such a massive title, one of the best-selling games ever. Having little tiebacks to it would be cool. And GTA 4 had some callbacks in GTA 5, right? Like Lester made a vague mention of Nico. You had Packy McCreary. You had the Lost MC guy who Trevor, you know, gets his opening cutscene with, basically. So I think there's a good chance, but we'll see what happens. And the final thing I would say is it's important to separate the facts from the theories. So the character bios, the cover art names, trailer footage, all that's concrete. A lot of this video is theories and speculation by me, and we're just trying to look at the puzzle pieces Rockstar gave us and put them together. So at the end of the day, this cast isn't just a random group of characters thrown together for a trailer. I think it's a well-designed machine that will come together great within the game. Brian is the anchor that's holding us down in Leonida Keys and for our small-time smuggling work. Cal is like our eye in the sky for our boat smuggling keys operation, kind of like a mini Lester, but just not as smart as Lester. I think that Booby, Draquan, and Real Dimes will be major players in the Vice City arc of the game and potentially introduce the mechanics involving influencer culture and social media and phones. Raul is clearly the guy that's going to get us set up in doing the $1 million crazy heist, and Jason and Lucia are just caught right in the middle of all of this. Drop a comment below on which character you think has the potential to be a standout character, or where you think some of my theories might be off. I appreciate you guys watching. Stay tuned for the next one, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.